Welcome back to another episode of Raul's World of Synths. I am Raul. Today we're going to be going a little bit further with the A106-5 12 decibel SEM type VCF, or voltage controlled filter, as it's called. If you were with us in the last demo segment, we kind of went through the low pass and the high pass and the notch filter of this, kind of with a few notes going through it. This time I thought we would do the bandpass out for this one and get a listen to what that's going to do for our sound. Now, if you look down at the bottom at our sequencer, I'm not going to explain this part of the setup. If you're kind of curious about this, check out the last video, or I also have a series on the A155 and the A156 quantizer over here. So short version is I'm taking the notes right here in this cable, and I'm going to patch those up into my VCO right there. And then I'm going to take my VCO and go into the filter right next door. There we go. And then we're taking the bandpass out from there, just right there. And I'm going to patch that down into a multiple. So just trust me, this is going into a multiple. This is what's going to get our sound over to the scope. There we go. I think one of my cables is not all the way in. There we go. Oh, plugged it in the wrong port. Sorry about that. There we go. Now we have some activity, and if you look at the scope, you can see the frequencies over there. So this is the sound of a bandpass filter. And for those of you who are sort of unacquainted with that particular type of filter, if you were with us in the last segment, we were talking about the notch filter, which basically lets in lows. It's kind of an imaginary line of frequencies. Lets in lows, and then right at a certain period, it kind of cuts off a little notch. There's a little notch in the middle that does not go through the filter, and then it starts to let in some highs somewhere over here, and then as you move it, the notch kind of moves with it. So there's a kind of a narrow band that does not go through. That's called a band stop. Kind of more like that, I guess, would be a better representation of it. So it just moves left and right. Now the bandpass is actually the reverse of that. So if you were to look at something like this, that kind of shape right there, it's kind of moving left and right. So only what's going up this way is actually going through the filter. So that's what we're hearing right now. So if I move this down and you look at the scope, you should see only a sort of small segment of frequencies coming through. I'm going to move it up. And what you should see is on the left side should start getting taller. Yeah, like right about there. But you see how the higher end of the frequencies over there are still fairly low. Now if I move further right, kind of moves further to the right, the ones that are tall. And then there, pretty much I think we're in a nice band. Cool, so that's the idea of the bandpass filter. So let's hear that a few times, with and without resonance. Now I think this is actually performing, and you can be the judge of this as well, since it's not specifically stated on the page for this module, or at least I didn't see it there. If it behaves similarly to the resonance control on the WASP filter, what it actually does, since it's not actually adding resonance, kind of increases sort of the narrowness of the band. And I think that's kind of what I'm hearing when I bring the resonance all the way up. Because if I look at my scope over there, I don't see a resonant sort of peak. But to my ears, that's kind of what's happening. All right, so there you have it, the bandpass version. All right, now let's try a little bit of modulation to this guy. So if you look down at the bottom section, in the lower part of our synthesizer over here, we have a little module right here that is going to be giving us a few triggers that I'm going to use to trigger an envelope generator, which is sitting right next to our VCO. And if you saw the basics video on this module, then this will sound a little bit familiar, but we just might play around with it a little more this time. So patched into the gate, and you can see right there that my envelope generator is firing every so often. So I'm going to take the output of that envelope generator and then patch it right into, let's do CV input 1. And I'm just moving all the way counterclockwise. I'm moving a little bit clockwise. All the way at the top, right there. Let's bring resonance down a little. Let's play with our envelope generator a little. And that light can kind of give you an idea as to how it's affecting the sort of frequency cutoff right there. Okay, let's take one more look at the spectrum view. So I'm going to bring the frequency cutoff down a little. And then over at our scope, see how kind of the high frequencies are fairly low. But there's kind of a small band that is sort of higher than the others. So now if I bring it up, you can see how that's kind of changing now. Probably one of my favorite types of filters, band passes. So since we have this already set up, and I didn't actually do this part in the last video, let's patch in our low pass, high pass out and hear what that little envelope going into our filter sounds like. Right now I'm kind of on the side of the high pass right there. If you look at our spectrum view over there, you can kind of get an idea as to what's going on. Okay, so that is the next demonstration, discussing a little bit of the bandpass output from this filter here. Just wanted to kind of throw that last little bit in just so we could kind of get a kind of compare contrast between the different types of filters that were kind of there in the original segment. Didn't really compare the bandpass to low pass and high pass in the first demo, but this time I thought it'd be useful to just kind of throw that in. At any rate, that's going to wrap up this demo. And the next one, I think what we're doing in the next one is modulation. And then when we move a little bit further, we're going to be doing sort of head-to-head with the A106-5 and the A124 WAS filter. Kind of hear some of the sort of similarities or maybe differences. I don't know. I'll leave that for you to decide. Next one, as I said, is going to be modulation. So if you have any suggestions whatsoever or anything that you want to hear specifically modulating this filter right here, please kind of put it up on the video website for YouTube, I guess, and just let me know, and I'll see if I can incorporate it for you. At any rate, again, thanks for watching, and keep on patching out there.